What's up, y'all? Peace, 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 man. It's the Activated AF1, United Futuritarians, man. The Activationists. Y'all know what it is. Hey, when I put this on YouTube, the YouTube Activation channel, the YouTube Activationist AF1 channel, subscribe to that, man, and y'all get some real teaching around here, because dealing with teachers and receivers, you're dealing with both. When you're coming over here to United Futuritarians, man, you're dealing with both. Shout out to the brother Aso. Shout out to the brother I sold. This is shirt right here. You know, you can hit him up on United Futuritarian channel on YouTube. If you want a shirt, this is the Beer Me Up Scotty shirt. Beer Me Up Scotty shirt. Yeah. Yeah, this topic right here. This topic right here is going to be about the steps, like when you all right, let's get straight into it. I gotta get in the zone right now, you know what I'm saying? In the zone. Actually, I gotta get in the 6. The 0 breaking out the 1. The 1 breaking out the 0. The 6. Because the 6 is like this. And what they do, they curved it like that. But a 6 is actually a 1 breaking. That's why they say 666 is evil. Because it's actually you go on YouTube, you can type in hamster wheel and you see all that stuff. You know, the regular people in society, they on a hamster wheel. They just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah, those are regulars. You know, if you want to be a regular, that's fine. But when you activate it and you get to the activation stage, then you go past the regular thinking mind frame of majority of the people that's on this planet. You go past that stuff and you start thinking about other stuff that's hasn't been thought of on this planet, because it comes from somewhere. Everything comes from somewhere. See, y'all think it's y'all's thoughts, and I understand why you think it's your thoughts, because you have free will. We already understand the free will. It's your thoughts are being, you have to cleanse your mind, right? You have to cleanse your mind. So your thoughts, so you can receive more thoughts. It's just like your cell phone, your computer, right? Your Tesla, right? Like what happens when it hits, when the capacity, there's always a limitation at artificial intelligence. It's always limited. It's just that they can move and make decisions faster because they are being upgraded. Just like your mind can be upgraded, artificial intelligence can be upgraded. Yeah, but this topic right here, man, it's going to be a nice topic. Basically just going to break down the whole stages of when you come out your mama's womb, being a copper-coated being and you coming out your mama's womb, right? I can go the combination when you deal with the yin and the yang, because you're also dealing with sperm and you're dealing with an embryo. So you're dealing with both, right? And then these teachers be cracking me up, man, because they always say that, you know, some of these, not all of them, but some of them say that that a woman can conceive by herself. That's just as weird as flat earth. A woman can conceive by herself, right? But see, when you're dealing with, I'm gonna break everything down to you about dealing with the queens. When you're dealing with the Queen of England, the Queen of you know, a lot of European countries, they always had queens and they had kings, right? The queen had a say so on certain things, the king had a say so on certain things. But when you're dealing with the queen and you're dealing with them procreating by themselves, that's why that's why we always stress what's next. All that stuff that y'all been reading, them books and stuff, man, that stuff is old, man. That is the stuff that you're pulling in from the future. That's all that matters, is the stuff you're pulling in from the future. That stuff that y'all been reading, man, is old, man. You know what I mean? So when somebody goes on Google, Siri, and Alexa, and then they ask them a question, because then it's been documented as a theory, because that's a theory. that women can procreate by themselves. That's a theory until it happens. And that one came from the Bible. What was it, Mary? I think it was Mary. When Mary all of a sudden was pregnant and then she didn't have sex with nobody, right? Logic thinking. Let's say if the Bible was a real book, because we know it's not a real book. The Bible is a coded book. It's not a real book. So let's say if she did get pregnant, the Bible was real, she did get pregnant, right? How do you impregnate a horse? Right? You either have to have the horse, you gotta have the male horse have sex with the female horse. We know that. But I seen some stuff on TikTok where this woman, she was a farmer, and what she was doing, she was conceiving the horses artificially with a tube. She was actually jacking off the horse's penis until he ejaculated, and then she put it in his cone, and then his sperm went into this cone. So then she took the cone where the sperm went into, grabbed one of those things that it kind of looked like, you know how you're on Thanksgiving, you know your mom be basting the turkey, be moistening the turkey with that little long thing with the little ball at the end of it. She took that, put it in the female horse, and impregnated her. The whole point I'm making is that if the Bible was real, right, and if say like Mary was asleep, if Mary was asleep, then all you had to do was impregnate her artificially, so she didn't really have to have sex. Because if you stick something long enough, it's going to pop the cherry, and then the sperm can swim through there. They've been doing this stuff for thousands and thousands of years. Yes, the activated AF1, man. Shout out to the brother Cosmos Uni Fresh. You can check him out. New music. You got the brother Aso. If you go to Facebook, type in Aso, he should pop up at the top. The brother Avery got the crystals, pushing brother Aso's Beer Me Up Scotty shirts. Yeah, we coming out with stuff y'all ain't thought about. Who thought about beam me up Scotty? Beer me up Scotty, right? Yeah, going back to the topic, man. The topic today is, let me see if I can remember it, right? I said the topic going from the council, activation, chosen, African American, black, and the clean slate. Now let's start backwards from the clean slate. Hey, AF1, what's a clean slate? A clean slate is when you come out your mama's womb and your mind has been cleansed. It's been cleansed. You have a clean slate. But who you going to learn from? You're going to learn from your mom. You're going to learn from your dad. You're going to learn from your siblings if you're not the first one. And you're going to learn from your family. And you're going to learn from the community. And you're going to learn from the government. That's 6 right there. What you're learning from. Is it beneficial to your soul? Really think about that stuff, man. The stuff that you learn, is it beneficial to your soul? The clean slate. Now, the reason why you have to have a clean slate when you're born, because if you know about your past lives, you will go through a psychiatric breakdown. I got a movie I'm thinking about writing too, dealing with that stuff. I ain't gonna say it on the cyberverse because they've been taking my stuff and they be fleeing off. You know, when they pass away, that's a consequence for that. Talk about a couple of cats in the hierarchy. Yeah, they done took our stuff, they done took a couple of our videos and made movies off of it because they know ain't nothing else. They know ain't nothing else. But one thing about them too, they know we ain't backing down either. So they do it sneaky. You know these cats been sneaky for the last 6,000 years. They're only 10,000 years old. They've been sneaky for the last 6,000. Been sneaky for the last 6,000 years. All right, clean slate. You come out your mama's womb, it's a clean slate. Your mind's been cleansed. You coming out, you have to learn stuff from your mom, your dad, your siblings, whatever. So whatever you get taught, then you think that that's what life is. what you've been taught. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be some old stuff. They're not telling you to be a receiver. They're not telling you to be a psychic. They're not telling you to be futuristic. They're going to always tell you the norm. Hey, F1, what does norm mean? Normal. Be a normal. If you want to be a normal and roll through society, that's fine. But manipulating the minds. Clean slate is first, right? Then after that, what happens? You get taught. You get taught by your mom, your dad, and then they have that black mentality. That blackness. Blackness equals darkness, right? But if you're representing darkness and blackness, the mentality is more like not you're my fault. Let me rephrase that. You're not manipulating the dark matter. Darkness just means that you're not in the light. That's all that means. So when people say that they're black, they don't really know the emotional, psychological effect of that. When you're dealing with other nations, I deal with other nations. My guy I've been knowing for like over 10 years. He's from Morocco, right? He's a Muslim. He's from Morocco. He owns his own corner store, right? I go up in his corner store, and I mean, not no big stuff or nothing like that. But as soon as I come walking up in there, he's like, "Hey, brother, hey, you thirsty?" I just come up in there, grab me a juice, a bag of chips, and just open it. All the brothers be sitting there looking at me like, "Who the heck is this?" I'm not you. That's all you need to worry about. I'm not you, because I connect with the whole planet. That's what power is. Connecting with the whole planet. See, that religion stuff always kept us separated as one. Why do you think we call ourselves the one? That religion stuff kept you separated. That conscious stuff keeps you separated. That black power stuff keeps you separated. You don't know how to manipulate society because everybody always thinking that somebody's out to get them. There's always going to be people out here that's not really righteous. Always going to be people out here that's not really righteous. Right? You could walk to the corner store 9:30 at night and you can get robbed. That's just the reality of it. So you have to move a certain way through society so you don't have to go through them things. Because all it takes is one big incident to mess up your whole life. Just one. Look at all the people, children getting killed in the streets. See, this AF1, man, I don't teach like those teachers teach on the internet because they're not chosen to teach. So then let's go back from the clean slate. What's next? Black, the black mentality. Now you out your mama's womb. Now you walking around, you 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and now you looking at the world like. Then you're seeing the stuff on the TV, then you're like, oh, this is what life is about? No, it's not. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Then what's next? Right? Then once you stop the black stuff, like a lot of the educated black people, once they start trying to stop saying black a lot, and they still say it because then they move to African American. Now you're at African American. Now you're like, oh, we from Africa. Only 11% of us came over here on boats, allegedly. Only 11% of us came over here on boats. The other 89%, we was already over here. We was already over here. And I'm going to break this stuff down for you again for y'all. Logically, if you really think about this. Now, if you're a European and you're in the Americas, right? You got guns. We got metal shields and swords, right? Who did they get the gunpowder from? They got the gunpowder from China. They got the gunpowder from China, right? So then they come over here with guns and we got swords and shields. Why would you go across the whole Atlantic to go get some people and then come back? Whoopsie. Doesn't make sense when you can enslave the people that's already there. See the thing, okay, let me break some more. This is more intel for you teachers out here on the internet that's trying to teach, because we come with intelligence, real intelligence. They got some cats out here talking about intelligence and stuff like that. The reason why we got enslaved more than the Indians, because I'm not even gonna call them. They're native to the land too, but we never went to war with them because we knew we could eat them up. We was trading with the Indians. We had our bow and arrows, we had our shields, we had our metal shields, we had our metal swords. You know what I mean? The Moors came over here. They started messing with us. We linked up with the Moors. So the whole point I'm making is, if you really look at it, there's no reason why to go across the whole Atlantic to grab people when they were already here, when you already had the power to take over. This is not rocket science. So how many of the copper-coated beings really came over here from Africa? Going back to the African Americans. And it's so funny because when you get pushed something for years and decades, you start to believe it. It's just like, I'm going to use an example. CNN, the news channel, right? Man, they push stuff so hard sometimes when they're on an agenda. They push it so hard, majority of the people that listen to it, that don't agree with it, after a while, they're going to be like, they hear some testimonies, then they're like, man, I don't know, that might be real, this and that, because it's been pushed so hard. Going the same thing, calling yourself African Americans. There's some African Americans over here, but the majority of them, they don't have the bloodline. They don't have the one bloodline. The one bloodline goes back from the first 200 came here. That's how far the bloodline goes back, dealing with this planet in this realm. Yeah, this is AF1 breaking down the African Americans. And that's the thing about Dr. Umar Johnson. And I always bring him up back because I'm like, he trying. I give him credit for trying. He trying to open up a school. Y'all acting like he ain't trying to open up a school. He really is trying to open up that school. But at one point in your life, when you try to deal with no power, that's why we say peace, power, and soul. Because we understand without power, you cannot manipulate nothing. You could manipulate the minds, but when it comes to the physical structures, the curriculums, what you teaching the kids on a massive scale, you got to just deal with your household. That's why we say the chosen ones, and then you have teachers. And we going past chosen too. Dealing with the African American alleged agenda that's been being pushed to steer you away from the Americas. There's more resources over here in South America, and Canada that's crushing Africa. That's facts. There's more resources over here in the Americas. When you're dealing with North America, South America, and Canada. Man, they got so many mines up there in Canada, it's ridiculous. You know why? This is why they got mines up in Canada for you teachers that's out here trying to teach on the internet and ain't activated. The reason why they got a lot of mines in Canada, right, is because to make an element, you have to have hot and cold. That's why in Canada, the lower parts of Canada, right, the middle parts of Canada, right, and then the top part of Canada, right, because when you're dealing with the see, I be going so fast. That's why I be like, man, y'all gotta take notes with this stuff. When you're dealing with the Arctic age, right? When the Great Lakes were frozen, all that stuff was frozen up. The Great Lakes was frozen, and that stuff melted and turned into the Great Lakes. It was different sectors and stuff because you have to have hot and you have to have cold to have top elements. It's the same way when you're dealing with a Japanese sword. What they call it, the katana. The katana. What happens? Hot, cold. Hot, cold. Hot, cold. What happened? It binds up the steel to be stronger than what it was when you first started molding it. Some more intel for you teachers out there on the internet. Yeah, the Americans got way more resources than Africa. Why do you think the United States is #1 in defense? You think that's random? There's 2 reasons why they're #1 in defense. It's because we over here, and there's resources over here. That's why that they looking at China like, y'all want Africa? Now we been milked Africa. Yeah, we been milked that. Y'all can have Africa, man. Man, that sun been beaming on them elements like that, especially dealing with the desert part of Africa. That sun just been beaming on there. You have to have a balance of both. You have to have cold and sun to get the top elements. Told y'all it's AF1, man. Ain't nothing else after this. It's a wrap. It's a done data. They'll probably make a video or a movie off that stuff like they've been doing. But let's go back to the Native Americans, right? The reason why the Native Americans, because the Native Americans, they were tribal. They lived in the woods. They lived in the woods. They were into nature. They wasn't into civilizations and running a country. Our people was into civilizations and running a country. So what you going to attack? You going to attack the woods, or you going to attack the civilization? So that's why the natives, they were on a safe haven as far as that go. But we ain't never messed with it. We got in a little. It's just like growing up in the hood and stuff. You get in little arguments here and there and have your little beef, but it was never no big war because both parties was about peace. We already knew we could eat Native Americans up. But why eat them up when it was already about peace? So we traded with them. We ain't going to go to war unless we got to go to war. So what they do, they come over here, you know, they come over here. No fly zone, no drive zone with the pyramids over here in North America. No fly zone, no drive zone with the pyramids over here in North America. Allegedly. Now the old souls and the future souls is back. Now they like, how are they figuring this out? Yeah, just like that one senator said. That one senator said that it was back in like the 40s. I think it was because it was still black and white, so it was like the 40s or the 30s. And he was like, he said I forgot what he called them. I think he said African Americans. At one point they'll be at the top and we'll be beneath them again. That came from a Caucasian mouth. Because you know why? He was tapped into a different source mentally. They weren't talking about African Americans. You got to think, man, the first 200 on the planet will be the last 200 to leave. This stuff is old. I keep telling y'all this stuff is 10 billion years old. Going in the 11th billion year. The 11, the ones with the ones. See, these people that went to college and stuff like that, man, this stuff, they can't fathom it, man, because they've been brain stained, like my mentor say, brain stained for the last 4 years in college. Then you got to deal with the 8 years that they was in, you got to deal with the 8 years they was in, not 8 years, my fault, the 12 years they was in regular school. The 12 years they was in regular school, then they go to college, right? That's what? That's 16 years. Right there. You've been brainwashed for 16 years. Right? Then if they get their doctors or PhD, I think it's 8. Don't get me wrong. I think it's 6 to 8 years or something like that. Doctors, PhD. So you add that up. Right? That's 20 years of brain staining. 20 years. Like the brother Aso said, man, we're going past the physical, man. We're going past the physical, man. We on a whole different realm, man. United Futuritarians, we on a whole different realm, man. We come in a room, and the room automatically is going to turn. They're going to be like, who are them? Who is those cats? Google it. Break it down, Google for you. Let me break down the word Google for y'all teachers on the internet again. Told y'all the council's back, man. Look at those movies that you see when you got the queen, the king, and the council. Yeah, the council's back. The real council's back. The copper-coated beans. We don't call ourselves black. We don't call ourselves African Americans. We don't call ourselves niggas. We don't call ourselves none of that. Going past all that stuff, man. This is the beginning. This is the new beginning to the real stuff that's finna pop off. You got these teachers on the internet. Oh, peace, love. They don't even know what peace means. Peace is it's a definition word. Peace of mind. You got to have a peace of mind. Peace in your mind. And then when you don't have peace, what happens? You go find it. Yup. So that's African American. What's the next one? Then when you go for African American, right? And then you go on these social media sites, and then you go in these groups and stuff. You see they call themselves the chosen ones, right? A lot of them stay stuck on chosen. They just stay stuck there. They stay stuck on chosen. They deal with their family. They, move through society, community, whatever floats your boat. But then when you go past chosen, the chosen one is when you're dealing with the Merkabah. You're dealing with the third eye, which is the pineal gland. The Egyptians, they had the pineal gland because they was trying to tap in. The reason why the Egyptians had the golden snake on their head, the serpent snake, because they knew that the next dimension was the fourth dimension. So the Egyptians was trying to tap into the fourth dimension. How? Through their forehead. That's why they call it a forehead, because it was trying to tap into the fourth dimension so they could pull in to keep ruling on society. Then what happened? Once the agents and all the spies and stuff came down in Egypt, like they had a gang of spies. They had, because Egypt was just like America. They're going to sit there and say Egypt was evil and stuff like that in the Bible. And they had the Israelites enslaved. And I keep telling these cats, where are the tombs at? All the prophets in the Bible don't have no tomb. They don't have no tomb. Now, remind you, right? If you're dealing with God's son and he rose in 3 days, so you mean to tell me all those prophets rose in 3 days too? Something smells fishy, because the Bible is a coded book. It's not literal. And I keep telling people the Bible's not literal. It's a coded book. Yup, going to the chosen. They stay at chosen. You go, man, go on Facebook. Go into search and type in the chosen or the chosen ones are chosen, and see all these groups pop up. Everybody think they chosen. But going back to the king and the queen thing, like I was telling y'all, right? I was watching this movie. I said it in my last live because I like this. I was watching this movie. Yeah, when you dealing with Xerxes, and you dealing with Genghis Khan, Xerxes, and all them cats like that, right? A lot of them killed the king. A lot of them killed the king, the queen, this and that. But when you're dealing with the European bloodline, right? A lot of them saved the kings and the queens. You know why they saved the kings and the queens in the council? Because they understand mind power. Yeah, they'll kill everybody else. Put a couple of them in slave, kill everybody else. But you know why they saved the king, the queen, and the council? Because they knew that they had knowledge. Shout out to the Caucasians for that. Because that's one thing about the Caucasians, man. They understand mind power. They understand sacrifice, and they understand salvage. What to be salvaged. I was dealing with this one mechanic. He was a white guy, right? Cool cat, man. He was real cool. I used to go to his house, this and that, and he used to always like salvage like these cars and parts and stuff like that, because he knew in his mind that stuff means something to somebody. Just like the king, the queen, and the council, that knowledge that was in their minds. That's why the king that invaded, it was a movie about England. The king that invaded one of the countries in England, he killed everybody else but the king, the queen, and the council. That's power. And that's knowledge. That's power and knowledge rolled in one. I'm gonna give y'all another example. That's just like, right, you at war, right? You encounter somebody that's the enemy, but they're a doctor. And they're telling you, I'm a doctor. And they're, got the guns on them like, I'm a doctor, I'm a doctor. A smart person at war would be like, are you a doctor? Okay. Show me some ID. Let me know I work at such and such hospital. Okay. You know what they're going to do? They're going to put the handcuffs on him and they're going to make him walk. Who's worth being salvaged and who's not? This is modern day warfare, man. Who's worth being salvaged and who's not? See, when you're dealing with the evolution story and all that stuff, evolution always was mind evolution. It wasn't some gorillas turning into some monkeys, turning into gorillas, turning into Bigfoot, and then turning into humans. That's not the evolution that we talking about. We talking about mind evolution. Mind evolution. That's why I said, man, y'all cell phones, man, they're gonna play your cell phones, right? In the future, if it's not you and it's your bloodline, your kids, you know what I'm saying, your grandkids, your great grandkids, your cell phones, man, they're gonna play a real factor, man, on who gets salvaged and who don't. Yep. So that I broke down. Go back to this lecture. Make sure you're a part of the elect. Go back to this lecture. Break it down. The clean slate. Then go. Oh no, I skipped one. It's clean slate and then niggas. See, the niggas, that was supposed to be first before black. The nigga mentality. The Negro mentality. Right? That mentality has been pushed for the last, when did NWA come out? NWA came out in 91? No, 89? 88, I think. But when NWA came out, that was a downfall to the black. You know how many babies, you know how many teenagers, how many babies, how many grown men and women got killed off that starting point? And y'all put them on a pedestal. Y'all putting them on a pedestal. You know how many people got sacrificed because of that agenda? Oh, I'm just telling stories from my neighborhood. Yeah, but you had a choice not to. Don't get it twisted, because they always come with a justification and a victim stance. Like they're a victim. All these hardcore hip hop rappers and all that stuff. I forgot. It was clean slate, niggas. Then it went to black, African American, chosen, activation, council. So let me hit the nigga point real quick. See, trying to take something. See, this was what is wrong with the African Americans, the black race, and they always taking stuff from somebody and trying to make it their own. Took the word nigga, took the word Nigger, and you made it GGAS, and then you try. It's never been about that. It's always been about going past niggas. Always been about going past. They did that to us. The reason why they take stuff from us, because they know that this activation stuff is real, and they try to take stuff from us and they try to flee off and do something with it. But in the long run, it's a boomerang. It's going to come right back to the council. It's going to come right back to the council. And you know what's so funny? Just trying to be accepted. So you going through society trying to be accepted, right? I don't want to be accepted. We don't want to be accepted. trying to make everybody feel comfortable inside the setting. Then when we come through and we not on that BS, that brainwashing, brain staining that been being beamed down through these radio frequencies for the last what? Consistently for the last 1,000 years. The last 1,000 years being beamed down here for the last 1,000 years, going past all that. Keep going past. Brother Cosmo Uni Fresh in the building. He got new music. That's with an N and a U. Check the brother out. And so I had to break down nigga for you then. Then I went from nigga. Then peace, power, and soul to you, brother. I went and then I broke down. Now we the chosen, and then it goes from chosen to what? Activation. See, the chosen point. A lot of people get stuck at chosen. A lot of people that's so-called conscious get stuck at chosen, right? Then you got the activation point when you're starting to look at everything. The activation is like you're looking at everything. You're starting, your neurotransmitters in your mind are starting to expand. That 3%, that between 3 and 7% of your mind that you use is starting to go past that. Now you're starting to push to 8. Now you're starting to push to 9. Now you're starting to push to 10, 11, 12. And then once your mind gets activated, because activation don't stop, it just keeps going once you're activated. So you go from chosen to activation. Then once you get to the activation point, then you start looking like you might even have like a dream or something, right? You might have a dream or something, and then it happens. And you're like, damn, I dreamed about that like a week ago. Like damn, that happened. You know what I mean? So you always look at it on the activation state. The activation starts with an A for a reason, because when you go into the alphabet, A is 1. It's the ones. Activation is the ones. That's when you know you're a 1. Once you get the activation, once you can go into a room of people, right? And then what do? You can metamorphose into different dimensions, time zones, conversations, feeling their energy, feeling, going into their minds, seeing what they was thinking. I'm gonna give you an example of how this activation stuff is real. Me and my girl went down to the bowling alley, right? It was a Sunday. We went down to the bowling alley to have some drinks. We actually walked there because we was gonna go drink. So then we walked to the bowling alley. There's this couple in there, right? They was on some weirdo stuff, man. They was trying to take us home and all this crap. But once I started talking to old boy, he was in the military for like 8 years, right? True story. He was in the military for 8 years. He was telling me like little certain things. But after I got done talking to him, he was crying on my shoulder. He was crying on my shoulder because the activation goes, like once you're activated, like you can go into people's minds. I went right into his mind, right? And it's so funny when we stress activation, it's so funny because then you got a lot of people that deal with tarot cards. They deal with tarot cards. They deal with psychics. They don't think this activation is real because they've been brainwashed to focus on tarot cards, psychics, black magic and stuff. This activation is trumping all that. All that's getting put down. Yep, going back to the activation, being activated, going into a haunted house. You activate, you go into a haunted house. You will hear the deities and the ghosts leave. You will hear them leave or see them leave. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Saw it with my own 2 eyes, man. This cabinet right here, I was washing dishes right here. This cabinet right here went like this while I was washing dishes. And I'm sitting here washing dishes. You know what I did? I went like this. I said, for real? I said, that's all you're going to do is open up a cabinet? I said, you can't do nothing else? I said, show me something else. I want to see. Right? But I already had saw her. It it was a little short Asian girl, right? I already had saw her twice. I seen her peeking through the window over here, and then I came outside. I went to go smoke outside, and she's a little. I don't even know if she's Asian because her hair was over her face, so I don't even know if she was Asian. It was a little girl, white dress, right? I come outside, and I remind you, it's dark as hell in the front of this block because the kids keep knocking out the street light. I come outside, I see a white dress dart to the backyard. Whole point I'm making is, ever since I've been up in here, she ain't even really been in here like that. Because it's activation. Because when she sees me, she sees a ball of light, energy, activation. That's what these ghosts and these deities and all that stuff that, you guys see. You guys watch horror movies. You watch horror movies, man. They get gone, man. Once an activation has come through, they leave. They're like, what the hell? Because they haven't seen nothing like this. That's why we call ourselves the council, man. The councils be salvaged. Councils, kings, queens, salvaged. That's why I say, man, y'all, you don't serve a purpose, man. Good luck, man. Some stuff popped the hell off. Good luck. Your phones is the AI reflection of you. Judgment. Judging the mental. Judgment. Judging what? The mental. Then from activation, where do you go? You go to the council. The days of one leader controlling everything, those days are coming to an end, man. It's the voting system. How do you think that, where do you think they got the voting system from? They got it from our ancestors. The voting system came from our ancestors. When you look at the pharaohs, right? The pharaohs, the Israelites, it's so funny. If the Bible was a real book, the Israelites would always want to try to be like Egypt. They did. It's the same thing as dealing with these rappers out here. These rappers, the Israelites would always want to be like Egypt. But then what they do, they take their book, they take the Egyptian book and create the Bible and try to be like them, but on a different level. It's the same thing dealing with like hip hop and all that stuff. You see these cats on the TV, they dancing, they making money, this and that. Like, oh, I want to be like them. I'm just going to do my version of them. Same thing the Israelites did, trying to be a version of the Egyptians, because then that's how it is, man. Like when you're dealing with like these cats going into politics, you got these one cats, a lot of these cats that go to college, they're vegans, they don't eat no meat, they don't trust the government, they like that, but they trying to do everything that they do, but they doing it their own way. That's the same thing dealing with the Israelites, bro. They try to do what the Egyptians did, but couldn't do it. They didn't build no societies. That's facts, that the Israelites never built a society. You could say they built Israel. You can go ahead and say they built Israel. Okay, Israel, right? Smallest country on the planet. Y'all couldn't expand. You know why? Because they wasn't activated. That's if the book was real. That book it's a coded book. That book was written in people in paralysis, because they had to have a foundation. They had to have a foundation book for us to read. So then the ones that are chosen to activation, to the council, can go past that book. And then everybody else will be stuck at that book. Majority of people, when you're dealing with Christianity, that's one of the biggest religions in the world. I think the second biggest religion is Islam or Muslims. And I think the third, it's between Muslims and Buddhists. I don't know which one. But that's a stepping stone. Religion is a stepping stone to get your life together. After you get your life together, you can stay at that pinnacle mentally and just deal with your community, deal with your family. But then once you start getting activated, you start going past all that stuff. It's like They call that they got those trains over in England and I think in Japan, right? Bullet trains. They go like 200 miles an hour. That's how your mind goes when you activate. It's just shoom. It's just going. It just keep going. All right. Then from activation, you got the council. Now let's go back. Let's do a rundown real quick. All right. It goes from clean slate. Clean slate is when you come out your mama's womb and your brain is clean. Your soul's cleansed, your brain's cleansed, and then you have to start learning stuff from your mom, your dad, your siblings, teachers, community. You even learn stuff from the hierarchies. You learn stuff from the government. All this stuff is being programmed into your head, right? When you come out your mama's womb, that's the clean slate. The next step, right after that, is that they try to push niggas, because they love that. They love nigga. They love that stuff, nigga, right? Because they understand where that goes. They understand the cycle of a nigga. Then after that, what? African American, right? Then you got African. Now you ain't a nigga no more. Now you like, I'm African American. You know, I don't like to use that word nigga, this and that. Our ancestor was enslaved, this and that, right? So then dealing with the word African American, right? Then after African American, you go to chosen. So now you done passed up African American. You start doing research. You start really realizing what's going on in society and how everything's like, quote, hoodwinked. And you're like, what's really going on? Like this don't seem right. Right? So now you're like, I'm at the chosen level because I'm chosen, because now I'm looking at everything as unnormal, because they always want you to be, that's why they call rules norms, because they want you to be normal. That's why they call rules norms. Then after that, you go to, after chosen, you go to activation. Now you activated. Now you know. When you was in chosen, now you're on point. You're like, I know this is some BS going on around here. And there's nothing you can tell me. There ain't no religion you can tell me. There ain't nothing you can tell me. I'm activated. Then in the long run, I'm going to end up teaching you because I'm activated. It's like riding a bike. You're never going to forget to ride a bike. You can get put in a wheelchair. Can't walk. I bet you if they came up with some stuff to fix your spinal cord, you hop right on that bike and be like, and be gone. Right? So going to activation. The last step is the council. Because now when you're dealing with this age, the age of one leader is over with. The age of one leader is over with. It's the voting system. It's the activated AF1, United Futuritarians, man. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all do that. The brother Cosmos, shout out to the brother Cosmos Unifresh. He got the new music. That's what it ended to you. Check that brother out. He got some R&B songs for you. Some new stuff. Hey, this the brother I Soul's t-shirt, the Beer Me Up Scotty. Beer Me Up Scotty t-shirt. Yeah, you got the little guy right there. Got the little guy right there. He being beamed up. Finna go have him a beer with some grays or the greens. Call them the greens, the grays. Yeah, United Futuritarians, man. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else after this, man. Y'all can go listen and get your little feelings and your little dopamine in your head activated. Listen to these watered down teachers. I give them credit, but they don't go past their teaching. That's the downfall. You have to go past what you've been taught and what you've been reading from these books, from the libraries where the lies are buried. Google, Siri, and Alexa, going past artificial intelligence, AI. It's AF1, the Alpha one.